Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to be doing Scream 3 because this one has a personal meaning to me, so even though it's not the best out of the Scream series, I still happen to enjoy it. I remember whenever I had gotten first into them, obviously, and I had really only known or seen the first one, and when I called a movie place that was going out of business to get that on DVD, they were like, yes, we do have that. We have the first one and the third one. And I said, what? And she goes, oh, why? Was there a problem? And I was like, no, I just didn't know there was a third one. Yes, I would like to reserve that. And so we went and picked them up, and that was the first time that I heard of Scream 3, and I came home and watched it, and I thought it was awesome. So let's get into this review of Scream 3 from 2000. Okay, so starting off with the opening title card, that is my favorite of the original trilogy. I just love how after the slash, the Scream 3 looks really nice. Whatever kind of logo they used during that one worked out really well. A strong opening of the film, I would say yes, I like it probably better than the opening of 2, even though I really love 2. The whole Cotton Weary thing was I like that. And I have this thing about Ghostface is scarier to me in houses, and when he's running down the corridor after Christine, his girlfriend, that was just really scary to me. I think that it was a good idea using Cotton as the opening kill because, I mean, who else really would you have used for that? I wasn't mad about the Stab 3 thing. I actually am probably one of the people who would defend Scream 3 more than I would criticize it, just because it already gets so much criticism that we already all know that. I'm gonna talk about my personal reviews and my personal feelings about it and stuff, so. I always really liked the movie aspect. I thought that was great. I'd seen the first and the third back to back, and they worked well, as a story. I love the brother aspect. That was crazy to me. I think that's a really good reveal. Especially now that I've gone to film school and I've seen and done behind the scene things and worked on short films, watching Scream 3 is a whole other thing because my film school is right in Hollywood. So in the opening scene where Cotton is racing home to get to his girlfriend before Ghostface does, he's driving through traffic real crazy, and I know exactly where all the shots are now. I've been there, they passed Capitol Records, and that's it's so crazy to be able to hear and see Hollywood from 1999, because that's when this was filmed, and to still recognize it today. Thought it was super cool to be able to see scenes and sets from the first Scream. That was really cool to me. Now let's talk about Sydney. Earlier in the first review, I think I mentioned how I like Sydney in the third one. Even though her role is cut back in this, it's I really feel for her in this one. She's heartbroken. She's at a point in her life where she's had it with people and she doesn't trust anyone. And to see that kind of cut off, closed off person because she knew deep down that something was missing, something was still unresolved, and she felt that in her. That is powerful, and I think that they should have played to that way more. Now, Neve Campbell was busy filming something else, so they only had a certain amount of time with her, I get that. But it is great, the amount of time that she is in it. And I don't mind the parts where she's not. Of course, I prefer her to be in it, but I love the ending scene when Sydney finally shows up to the mansion and everything that takes place beforehand. I think that's the whole best part about the Screams is the whodunit aspect and the characters in constant motion and being separated. That is what is another piece of the Scream films that I really like. And as much as there are things about this movie that I don't like, there's a lot that I really do. And it's just crazy, I think, how much people hate on this movie because it's still, I mean, a worthy Scream movie at the end of the day. If you start looking at like some of the other horror movie franchises, I mean, their worst movies are way messier than anything like Scream 3 could have pulled off. And I just think that an interesting aspect would have been if Randy lived to the first one and the second one, and he was in the third one, how cool would it have been if Randy was like, yeah, I'm a part of the Killing Spree too, and I helped kill this, that, and the other, and by the time that the second killing happened, that was just completely random. That was working out for me. That's awesome that Billy's mom wanted to do that. That's pure coincidence. And then if Randy was a fan who just, his killing reason was just because, oh, well, I didn't finish my job from the first movie. That could have been a really scary aspect, I think. I also think that one of the stronger aspects of this movie is whenever they focus on the murder of Maureen. A lot of people didn't like that they retconned the first Scream, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting to dive into how messed up this trauma was, and that it's generational, and that everybody thinks, oh, well, Scream 3 is all about this character development into this character we've never met in the Scream universe. That is true, but if you think about it, the entire plot of Scream would not even be happening if it weren't for Sidney's mother, and that trauma is generational, and it passes on, and that is what Sidney had to deal with, so it is important to the story when you dive into Maureen. It was helping Sidney. That's why in the third one I think she was so cut off in the beginning and so traumatized, because after the second one, like I said, deep down she knew something still wasn't right in her. And when this whole other missing piece came out, and the truth about her brother and her mom and this whole other life that she could have had, that really sets in with her, and she had to like take it all in for what it was and let it go. And I thought the strongest ending of the original trilogy is the ending of Scream 3, where she just looks kind of happy over at the door and walks away, because it was so open-ended. It was like, well, you could easily make a fourth one just because. If you never did, it works as a perfect trilogy of overcoming trauma, and I don't need to worry anymore. Which is still kind of true, but we'll talk about that for the fourth one. Some of my favorite scenes from this is when the set attack is happening after Sidney comes out of the bathroom, and she's having flashbacks of the whole Woodsboro epidemic, bringing her back to those memories, the music that they're playing in the background, how they call back with feelings and sound. You hear that and you immediately think of the first Scream, and you can feel how hurt she is seeing all of this, and walking through the houses, in a way, probably was healing for her in a therapeutic way. She went through the worst night of her life. That was the opening of it all, the start of it all, there. And she never went back to it, and it was cleaned up afterwards, and she was taken away by police. We never see the cleanup of that Scream, but you know, that's what happens, obviously. So for her to be able to go back in a sense that was like kind of not the real thing, but was like every detail, and have it be like kind of safe, but then have her be attacked in the set, it was so crazy and vulnerable, and I thought it was a really interesting idea to be able to have her run up the steps and open the door and there isn't a bedroom there, because I've been on sets and that's exactly how they are. Watching that scene when I was younger didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand why that was a thing. I didn't even understand that was a movie set. I thought, why would somebody have a bedroom designed like that? I just didn't get it. I was young. But looking back at it now, it makes total sense. I think that was such a crazy aspect. Some negatives for me are when we're at the party at the end and everybody goes kind of missing. I think everybody kind of feels this way, but making Roman fake his own death was weird and kind of out of nowhere. And even though that, if you think about the fact that Billy faked his own death in Scream right in front of Sidney to get attention off of him, that was done in a very different way, because they did that to mess with Sydney's mind, and then Billy laid there unused until the very end whenever he turns the tables on her. For this one, it's like, oh, if the audience thinks he's dead, he's free to just roam around for the entire rest of the movie and not be suspected. And then when you take the mask off, you think, oh, I thought he was dead. And so that kind of feels like a little cheap and cut out from under me. A negative for me about this movie is the death of Parker Posey's character. Now, believe it or not, I actually really liked her in that movie, especially being young. She was just a fun character to like love. And I just always thought that she was adorable and funny and that she would be my friend, and I was sad to see that she died in such a unclimactic way. And with that being said, I do, however, like the other deaths. I think it's cool that Angelina admits that she slept with the director and then runs down the stairs and she's like, it's crazy to still be here, you should get out now, and immediately gets the knife to the chest and is... That was cool to me. I loved that. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Sidney Prescott's story, I think at the end of the day, is just a good story. I think she's a great final girl. She's a strong survivor, a great person to look up to. By the way, if you're wondering what this is, I'm babysitting a dog right now. Her name is Lars. She's the cutest. I think that the final battle between Sydney and Roman has got to be one of my favorite showdowns in the original trilogy, just because it seems so violent. It really just seemed violent and a little more personal after he revealed everything that he had to. And Sydney gets her ass whooped for a minute in this, and she could throw some good punches in there too, but they were really playing it out like she was not gonna make it. But they did the switch with the bulletproof vest at the end, which was awesome. And then I just think they executed it very well. I also think that it was cool to be able to have Candy's death in the film set behind the Ghostface costumes. That was really strong, and the whole prop weapons not working, that was really strong. However, the lack of blood in this movie and the lack of creativity in the kills because of, well, the Columbine thing that happened and the struggles Wes had to go through to be able to make this movie kind of just shows in a scene like this. And the house exploded, but I never really understood why that was in the film. I love the score in this movie. When Roman is doing his ending speech of his entire reasons, I think the score in the background of that is really, really awesome. It just gave me the chills. I remember it like sticking in my head afterwards. I like that Scream 3 has a happy ending. I like that Dewey and Gale get together at the end. That's fun to have him propose to her from that book and to see their ups and downs through the movie, but then to have it mirror again in real life. You know, that was a really strong thing to do, especially since they thought that they weren't going to come back to the series. Well, that was my review on Scream 3. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it shocking. Tell me what you felt about Scream 3 in the comments. Hopefully there'll be some people who agree with me. I know that there are some Scream 3 enthusiasts out there. I can't be alone. It's not my favorite, but I definitely don't hate it, and I definitely am excited to get into my ranking videos with the Screams. Let me know why you didn't like it, what parts of it didn't work for you, or if you do like it, tell me so that I can like have somebody agree with me and not be alone in life. That would be nice. I'm excited to do Scream 4. That's a great movie. And I will be looking forward to talking about my theories on Scream 5, because a lot of people have a lot of different ideas, and I have some good ones. So if anybody sees them, you know, I mean, I don't care, take them, make a good movie. Okay, thanks for watching, and check back for more videos. In case you guys wanted to know, my film chair has my name on the front and both the back. And this is the little dog that I'm babysitting. Hi, baby girl, what's going on, huh? You wanna say hi for the camera? Oh, yeah. You say you like Scream 3 too, huh? You like Scream 3 too? Yeah.